like super quick. It doesn't take very long. I mean, you can take a really long time with it if you want, but it's a pretty simple process and a very small piece of material, so you can get that done pretty quickly. We have all the supplies set out over here and a few books. The one by Selena Rios McCrae, she is like the mother of all eraser carving. She does the book. If you want ideas on layout, design, tips and stuff, that's a great book for reference. I think Kate has a copy too, and the zine is here that has like a couple of basic tips. You're free to take one of those, and that's kind of like a mini instructional. So, there's only a few things that you really need to know. First of all, with all art, there are no rules. So if your question is, can I do that? Yes, you can, as long as you don't hurt yourself. Yes, you can. So we're going to go through like super basic step-by-step of creating the print. I'm not going to do a transfer. Kate may show us how to do an acetone transfer. I've not done that before, so we'll hold off on that for a moment, and we may.
Not acetone.
Okay, but that is an option, and we can figure it out together. So when we are using the tools, there's a bucket of them over there. They come usually with this, and then the blade is separate. So open the blade. When you open the blade out of the little packet, just be careful. They're very, very sharp. So you're going to take this and you're going to unscrew it. Not all the way. If you unscrew it all the way, it falls all apart. So you're going to unscrew it just until there's an opening. Now see, like that. See what happened there? Fell apart, and there's this little piece. Now I got to put it back together. If it happens to you, you take the little ball bearing in there, and you're not. I don't know if you can see this. I don't guess you need to right now. But if this happens, you just come get us and we can help it. You're gonna put this right back in there. That holds the blade. I'll put that back on there just enough to hold it securely. And then I'm going to take the blade and I'm going to nestle it into the crack. So you'll know it's in there because the curve comes down and stops right there, right where your carving tool is. So now I'm tightening that down until it's nice and tight and it's not going to come out. All right, so when you are carving, this is a push carve situation. So you don't want to hold the thing like this, because if you slip, it'll go right into your finger. So just try to do it like this. Hold it so that you're not coming towards your finger. You know, Selena says hold it like a violin bow, right? So you'll have more control that way, but everyone's gonna hold it different. I mean, just what we do, right? Sometimes I get like this and I do this, but what we really want to do is hold it like this. And I had an eraser, here we go. So that's when we're carving, we're going to keep it shallow. If you dig deep, it'll go right in and then it'll start to tear. So if you want a nice clean line, keep it shallow, and the deeper you go, the wider the line will be. You'll just get a feel for it, just play with it. So depth of its borders. Okay. All right, so we're holding the tool. The next thing we do is we obviously draw our design on the eraser. I drew a tiny Volkswagen, which is probably going to be impossible to do a very good job of. But I did it in black and white, and I made it like a line drawing. So when you are doing your design, think simple and think positive, negative, because what you carve away will not show in your print, and what you leave there will show in your print. So let me grab these examples real quick.
Y'all, when we actually get into the actual stamp making, there's a ton of supplies over here. We actually have phonics stamps as well. If you don't feel like carving, but you still want to play with stamps, there's a bunch of stamps over here on this table. And then you'll just kind of come up and go around, and you can grab all your materials over here. There's a bunch of pink erasers, Sharpies that you can use to draw with, kind of ink and stuff for when you get into it. But
Sweet. So here are some examples by Russell. He's not here yet. He'll be here later. But this is an octopus where he carved away the background behind the octopus. And he left a border, which helps you get a clean print. So what happens is when you go to print your eraser, you're gonna get it inked up and you're gonna push it really hard. And so if you have that border, it just creates structure and helps you get a nice clean print. You can do two-tone. This one, it does not have a border. This is the other way, right? He carved around the octopus, and this one he carved around it but didn't leave the border, right? He didn't leave the border. This one, since I'm showing examples, I'll show this one too. You have to carve your words in reverse. So if you want a word, you've got to write it in reverse. Unless you do the transfer method, and then you don't. But
huge mistake that we all make like almost immediately.
Yeah.
If you write a word, make sure you flip it around, make sure it's mirrored. You're gonna be really disappointed if you spend like 30 minutes carving something.
No.
Yeah, but it happens to everybody. This is a two-tone print because I used the magic markers. And so what I did here was I colored this with the magic marker, and then I colored this with a different color. I spritzed it with the water, and then I stamped it. So I'll show you that in a second. So an example of carving a border, I have also, we have two blades. We have a tiny pointy blade, which is probably going to be the one that everyone's going to want to use the most. And then we have a square blade that makes a really nice clean border. So there are a few other blades. If you really want something different, come and talk to me and we can try something different. But I'm gonna set this eraser down, and I'm going to press like this and just sink into the eraser just ever so slightly, right? And try not to go towards my finger. I'm bending the rule a little bit on this. Okay, so I'm not gonna get crazy with that right now. But that shows what the square did. So, carving, depth, border, okay, so that's the gist of carving. Does anyone have any questions so far about the carving? Pretty straightforward. Okay, so then we get to the fun part, right? And that's printing. And there's a lot of different types of paper and different ways of printing. The quickest and easiest way is the ink. We take our carved print and I'm not gonna do the bananas. There's lots of ways to do this too, but we're gonna ink it up. This one I just did like a chunk of an eraser. And then you just stamp it down. It's just that easy, right? You can carve all the sides of the eraser. You don't have to just do the one piece. If you want to chop an eraser into smaller pieces, let us know. We've got this great blade. We will just chop it into little bits for you. Another way I want to show you guys this super cool for a multicolor print with erasers is to take a water-based magic marker, and you don't have to worry too much about this drying on you, which you're gonna think, oh no, I've got to keep it wet. And generally that's a good idea, but I don't know why or how this magic works. These markers reconstitute and blend well. So this is a Tombow marker. I'm sure that basic markers probably will work pretty good too. So I color the background, and then I'm gonna color the bananas. So now that's starting to get dry, but that's okay. I can sit there and talk and continue what I was saying, and then I'm gonna come back to it. And we have these spray bottles. This is just water. So if I go like this, it's just gonna smear everywhere. What I want is a nice wet sheen, but not really wet. So I don't know if you can see that, but that's a little too wet. And then we just smack it down there. So you can, yeah. And you can usually get a few with that. That's the ghost print, right? So they both look cool, but that's a good way to get a two-tone print with the magic marker. I think it's really satisfying.
A lot of markers over there on the regular
Yeah,
supplies.
and the other thing I did bring also is this is a watercolor kind of stick called Carandache, and there's a little container of those over there, and you can play with those as well. Same thing with the marker, but it's a little juicier because it's paint. So just have fun with it. I think that's all, unless I left anything out or anyone wants to add anything.
No, I don't think so. We do have zines that Sarah's also made that have kind of the instructions as well, so y'all can definitely take a look at those, and it'll have kind of a whole guide on how to do it. Once again, make sure to hold the blade away from your finger. Don't put your finger right in front of it. Make sure that you're kind of holding it in such a way that you're pushing the blade away from you. So you don't want to cut your finger, but if you do, we do have Band-Aids, I think, right?
We do. If you need a Band-Aid, I have Band-Aids. Also, we have rubber gloves. If you don't want to get ink on your hands, we have rubber gloves. When it comes time to print, you're going to probably want to do another color. Please wipe off your eraser. I have some microfiber towels. I'll put those out. Wipe it off, and then you can go to different inks that way. Yeah, I think that's it, you know.
What kind of ink did you use for your shirts?
So this is actually a carved potato with the same blade. And I used a fabric, a paint that's good on like metal, glass, fabric, whatever, and I just printed with the potato for that. We thought about bringing vegetables too, but it was like you could just keep going and going.
Next time.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that the hardest part will probably be the positive, negative concept we have, and then the carving. There are Sharpies over here. What you can draw with a Sharpie, you can carve. What you can draw with the pencil, you could carve, but it's just harder. So feel free to do whatever, however you want, and I'll walk around and feel
Got
free
flash
to.
sheets too.
Yeah.
And tracing paper.
If anyone feels lost at any moment, feel free to, don't suffer in silence, feel free to ask a question, and we'll be walking around, because we did practice a few times before running the shop, so we're veterans of stamp making here. We'll definitely help you out, but all right, I think